If you're trying to buy a home in Kansas City, you might already feel like the odds are stacked against you. And honestly, you're not wrong. We're Kat and Melanie with the Lewis Higdon Group Realtors, and today we're exposing a major problem in Kansas City's housing market, one that could make it nearly impossible for regular buyers to own a home in the future. Here's the reality. In some Kansas City neighborhoods, investors own over 50% of available homes. They're buying them up, turning them into rentals, and pushing prices higher and higher, which means everyday buyers are getting completely shut out.
If you're a first-time homebuyer, this is a huge problem because the longer this goes on, the fewer homes will be left to buy. And if this trend keeps up, owning a home in Kansas City might not even be an option. But here's the thing, it's not too late. Buyers can still win against investors, but the clock is ticking. Let's break down exactly what's happening and what you can do to secure a home before it's too late.
In recent years, large real estate investment companies such as hedge funds and corporate landlords have been rapidly buying up homes in Kansas City, fundamentally reshaping the housing market. Just a few years ago, the average buyer had a fair shot at home ownership. But today, investors are outbidding local buyers, driving up prices, and turning entire neighborhoods into rental communities. For many, owning a home in Kansas City is slipping out of reach. Investor ownership in Kansas City has skyrocketed. In some parts of Kansas City, investors have taken over entire neighborhoods. In Jackson County, nearly 45% of single-family rentals are owned by companies with over 100 properties. In Wyandotte County, investor ownership has reached staggering levels, with some census tracts reporting that 72 to 87% of homes are owned by investors, not individuals. And the impact is clear. Home prices have surged. So why are investors taking over? Well, the reason is simple. It's more profitable to rent homes than to sell them. These big investors aren't looking to flip houses for a quick payday. Instead, they buy up properties, often at prices everyday buyers can't compete with, turn them into rentals, and hold on to them for the long haul. Home prices here are still lower than in other major metro areas, making it easy for investors to buy properties in bulk. And because rent prices keep rising, investors know they can charge more while keeping properties occupied. So what does this mean for regular home buyers? The impact on local buyers is devastating. This competition has pushed home prices higher than ever, making it even harder for locals to afford a place to live. Worse yet, because so many homes are being turned into rentals instead of owner-occupied homes, neighborhoods are changing. Stability decreases when residents don't own their homes, and property values can start to fluctuate as investor priorities shift. So let's talk about, is there a way to stop it? For buyers still trying to get into a home, there are strategies that can help, like working with local lenders and realtors like us who understand how to structure offers to compete against investors, and looking into down payment assistance programs that might give you a stronger financial edge. But make no mistake, if nothing changes, homeownership in Kansas City could become a thing of the past for the average person. The real question is, how much longer can regular buyers compete?
So let's talk about the struggle of why today's home buyers can't compete. If you're wondering why regular buyers keep losing out, the answer is simple. They can't compete with investors who are playing by an entirely different set of rules. First off, investors often use all cash offers. Imagine you've spent months searching for the perfect home. You finally found one, put in an offer with 5% down, and feel hopeful. Then within hours, a hedge fund or investment firm swoops in and drops a cash offer. No financing, no delays. What do you think the seller is going to pick? This is happening every day in Kansas City. Regular buyers need mortgages, but investors are coming in with massive amounts of cash, snatching up homes before the average buyer even has a chance. Sellers love cash offers because they're fast, easy, and almost guaranteed to close. No lender approvals, no financing contingencies, just a quick sale and money in their pocket. Another reason investors keep winning, they don't need inspections or contingencies. A regular home buyer wants to know if the roof is leaking, if the foundation is solid, or if the home has major issues. But investors don't care. They can afford to skip inspections, buy the house as is, and deal with any problems later. As a first-time buyer, on the other hand, you can't risk buying a money pit, and sellers know that. So what does all this mean for home prices? When investors buy up homes in bulk, fewer properties are left for actual home buyers. This creates a supply and demand nightmare. At the end of the day, regular buyers are being pushed out of the market, not because they aren't qualified, but because investors have the money, the speed, and the power to play a game that buyers were never invited to in the first place. The real question is, how long before Kansas City's housing market is completely out of reach?
If investor activity keeps rising, home ownership in Kansas City could become a thing of the past for the average buyer. But here's the good news. Right now, it's not too late. If you act soon, home ownership in Kansas City is still absolutely possible. And the truth is, even though investors are competing, they don't always win. There's a major advantage that first-time home buyers have over investors. Sellers are realizing that working with an actual homeowner is often a better deal than selling it to an investor. Most investors aren't looking for their dream home. They're looking for a deal. That means they often lowball their offers in an attempt to buy property as cheaply as possible. They also typically add weasel clauses that let them back out of a contract if they decide they're not getting a big enough profit. Sellers are catching on to this. If they have the choice between an actual homeowner who will love and care for the home versus an investor who is just treating it like another number in their portfolio, many sellers will choose the homeowner. Another huge advantage, investors aren't as focused on homes that hit the market. They target off-market deals, foreclosures, distressed properties, or bulk sales. This means buyers still have plenty of opportunities right now to find a great home before investors even start paying attention. We've already helped many first-time home buyers beat out investor competition. And here's how. Finding homes that investors overlook. Many buyers think their only option is to chase after the same 5 to 10 popular homes everyone else is bidding on. But there are always hidden gems that investors aren't targeting. These might be homes that need a little cosmetic work, have been sitting on the market slightly longer, or are in neighborhoods investors aren't focusing on yet. Something else we help with is making strong, smart offers. Investors come in with cash, but they also come in low. We've helped buyers win by making fair but competitive offers that sellers actually want to accept. Another way is using local lenders who understand the market. Working with the right financing team can mean the difference between losing to an investor or closing on your dream home. Sellers trust local lenders who can guarantee a quick closing. And finally, making sure you're tapping into down payment assistance. Many first-time buyers don't realize that there are programs available to help them secure a home with a lower upfront cost, making it easier to compete. Now let's talk about how the city can help too. And some already are. Kansas City isn't the first metro area to deal with investors gobbling up properties. And the good news is there's always a way to fight back. Some cities across the U.S. have started putting restrictions on how many single-family homes one investment firm can own. Others are charging additional taxes on corporations that buy up large numbers of properties to discourage them from turning entire neighborhoods into rental communities. If Kansas City follows suit, it could help slow the takeover of the housing market and keep more homes available for real homeowners. While nothing has been implemented yet, more attention is being brought to this issue. As a buyer, you can make your voice heard by supporting policies that prioritize homeownership over investor control. Yes, homeownership is getting harder, but right now, buyers still have a chance. We aren't at a crisis point yet, but if investors keep buying at this rate, the supply of homes for sale will only shrink and prices will continue to rise. But that hasn't happened yet. Right now, there are still plenty of homes available. Right now, we can still find you a place to call your own, and sellers are still valuing working with a real homeowner rather than an investor or big corporation. But the longer you wait, the more difficult and more expensive it may become.
So if you're thinking about buying a home in Kansas City, now is the time to make your move. We can help you navigate this market, compete against investors, and secure a home before the competition gets even tougher and prices continue to rise. Reach out today and let's make home ownership happen for you, because in a few years, you might wish you had bought a home today. Drop us a comment below if you've been outbid by an investor, or if you want to talk about how we can get you into a home before the market shifts even further. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more updates on Kansas City real estate as we post videos weekly. We're Kat and Melanie of the 𝗠𝗢𝗡 Group, and remember, there's no place like home here in Kansas City.